Carnivorous plants occupy a unique and fascinating niche in the plant kingdom, captivating the imagination of botanists, horticulturists, and plant enthusiasts alike. These remarkable organisms have evolved in nutrient-poor environments, developing extraordinary adaptations that allow them to capture and digest insects and other small creatures to supplement the nutrients missing from their soils. From the delicate sundews with their glistening, sticky tentacles, to the imposing pitcher plants whose tubular traps beckon unwitting prey, to the rapid snap of the iconic Venus flytrap, carnivorous plants challenge our conventional understanding of what plants can do. Their cultivation requires careful attention to their specific environmental needs, an understanding of their natural habitats, and a patient, attentive approach to watering, light, soil, feeding, and humidity. To truly nurture these botanical marvels, one must delve into the interplay of factors that sustain their growth and allow them to thrive in artificial settings. Watering is the cornerstone of carnivorous plant care. Most species are extremely sensitive to water quality and soil moisture, as they are adapted to habitats that are consistently moist but often poor in dissolved minerals. Rainwater, distilled water, or reverse osmosis water is strongly recommended, as tap water often contains calcium, chlorine, or other dissolved salts that can accumulate and damage roots or leaves. The soil of carnivorous plants should be kept moist at all times, but it should never be waterlogged. For bog-type species such as Sarracenia, Darlingtonia, and many Nepenthes, a trace system can be employed where the pot sits in a shallow pool of water, allowing the plant to absorb moisture gradually from the bottom. Care must be taken to ensure that the tray does not dry out completely, particularly during periods of active growth. For species that grow in highlands or cooler climates, watering should be reduced slightly during dormancy periods, mimicking seasonal shifts in their natural environment. Observation is essential. Signs such as wilting, curling leaves, or shriveled pitchers indicate insufficient water, while yellowing leaves or rotting roots indicate excess. Light is another vital factor, and it must be carefully adjusted according to species requirements. Carnivorous plants generally require abundant light to fuel photosynthesis, but the intensity, duration, and quality of light vary depending on the plant's natural habitat. Sun-loving species such as Sarracenia, Dionaea muscipula, and many Drosera thrive under full sun, whether natural or simulated with artificial lighting. Highland Nepenthes prefer bright but indirect light, while lowland Nepenthes tolerate more direct sunlight but require careful monitoring to prevent scorching. In indoor cultivation, artificial light sources can be highly effective. Full-spectrum LEDs, fluorescent tubes, or compact fluorescent lights positioned appropriately can provide the intensity and spectrum required for robust growth and vibrant coloration. A general guideline is to provide at least 12 to 16 hours of light per day, especially during active growth periods, while ensuring a dark or dim period to simulate night and support natural circadian rhythms. Plants that are deprived of adequate light often produce elongated, weak leaves and small or poorly formed traps, whereas excessive light may bleach foliage or cause leaf burn. The substrate in which carnivorous plants are grown is perhaps the single most misunderstood aspect of their care. Unlike typical houseplants, these species do not require nutrient-rich soils. In fact, soils high in organic matter or fertilizers can be detrimental, leading to burned roots, stunted growth, or complete plant failure. Instead, the growing medium should replicate the nutrient-poor, acidic, and well-draining conditions found in bogs, sandy wetlands, or mossy forests. Commonly used mixes include combinations of long fiber sphagnum moss, peat moss, perlite, horticultural sand, and orchid bark. For terrestrial species like Venus flytraps and Sarracenia, a mixture of sphagnum moss and sand or perlite provides both aeration and moisture retention without excess nutrients. For epiphytic or climbing species such as many Nepenthes, a coarse mix of sphagnum moss, orchid bark, and perlite ensures that roots remain aerated and avoid rot. Repotting should be carried out carefully every 1 to 2 years, preferably in spring, to refresh the medium and accommodate growing roots. Root disturbance should be minimal, as carnivorous plants possess sensitive root systems that can be easily damaged, resulting in slowed growth or stress responses. Feeding and nutrition are the aspects that distinguish carnivorous plants from their more conventional counterparts. While they can photosynthesize like other plants, their evolutionary adaptation allows them to supplement mineral intake through the capture and digestion of insects or other small prey. The approach to feeding depends on the species and the cultivation context. Outdoor plants often capture sufficient prey naturally, while indoor plants may require manual feeding to provide the nutrients they would otherwise obtain in the wild. Small insects such as fruit flies, crickets, or gnats can be carefully introduced into the traps, ensuring that they are appropriately sized to avoid damaging the plant. Venus flytraps, for example, require live or freshly killed insects, and the prey must trigger the sensory hairs inside the trap to stimulate digestion. Sundews use sticky tentacles to trap smaller prey, and occasionally they may benefit from supplemental feeding using tiny insects or diluted foliar nutrient solutions. Pitcher plants, such as Nepenthes and Sarracenia, rely on their fluid-filled traps to digest prey over time. Excess feeding should be avoided, as decomposing insects in improperly functioning pitchers can lead to mold or bacterial growth. Fertilization, a point of considerable debate among growers, is generally unnecessary for most carnivorous species and can be harmful if misapplied. These plants are adapted to low-nutrient environments, and traditional fertilizers, especially those containing nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium, can cause fertilizer burn, manifesting as scorched or blackened leaves. For certain species, such as Nepenthes, occasional weak fertilizer applied to the soil or sprayed lightly onto leaves may enhance growth, particularly for plants in containers without natural insect prey. Care must be taken to dilute fertilizers to 1/4 or even 1/8 the recommended strength for ordinary houseplants, and application should be limited to the active growing season. Many experienced growers prefer to rely exclusively on prey capture for nutrient supplementation, which maintains natural growth patterns and minimizes the risk of chemical damage. Humidity and air circulation are critical factors that influence both growth and pitcher development. Most carnivorous plants flourish in environments with relative humidity ranging from 60 to 90%, though species adapted to higher altitudes or drier regions may tolerate lower humidity levels. Maintaining elevated humidity can be achieved through misting, terrariums, humidity trays, or greenhouse benches. However, it is essential to balance moisture with adequate airflow to prevent fungal growth, stagnation, and bacterial infections. Fans or gentle air movement can help ensure that humidity is distributed evenly while supporting healthy leaf and trap development. Observing the plant's leaves and traps provides insight into the adequacy of environmental conditions. Shriveled or prematurely browning traps indicate insufficient humidity, while wet, slimy, or mold-covered traps suggest excessive moisture or poor ventilation. Temperature management is also essential, particularly for species with specific climatic preferences. Lowland Nepenthes thrive in warm conditions, typically between 75 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, with only a moderate nighttime drop. Highland Nepenthes, by contrast, require cooler nights, sometimes dipping into the 50s, while tolerating moderate daytime warmth. Terrestrial carnivorous plants such as Venus flytraps, Sarracenia, and Drosera often experience natural seasonal dormancy, which must be replicated artificially to support long-term health. This period involves cooler temperatures, reduced light, and less frequent watering, mimicking winter conditions. Failure to observe dormancy can lead to exhausted plants, weak growth, or mortality, particularly in temperate species. Propagation is a rewarding component of carnivorous plant cultivation, though it demands patience and attention to detail. Venus flytraps and sundews are commonly propagated via leaf or rhizome cuttings, division, or seed sowing. Nepenthes are typically propagated through stem cuttings placed in high humidity environments to encourage root formation. Tissue culture offers a modern alternative for the propagation of rare or hybrid plants, allowing controlled production of genetically identical specimens. Success in propagation depends on maintaining stable humidity, appropriate substrate, indirect light, and avoidance of stress factors, as new growth is particularly vulnerable to environmental fluctuations. Pruning and maintenance are necessary to sustain plant vigor and aesthetics. Dead or dying leaves and traps should be removed promptly to prevent the spread of fungal or bacterial pathogens. Regular inspection of leaves, traps, and roots allows early detection of potential problems, such as pest infestations, mold growth, or nutrient deficiencies. Supporting climbing species with stakes or trellises can encourage fuller growth, proper pitcher orientation, and overall plant stability. Care must be taken to avoid injuring growing tips or sensitive root zones, as damage can compromise the plant's ability to generate new traps or recover from environmental stress. pest management is an ongoing consideration for indoor and greenhouse cultivation. Carnivorous plants are generally resilient, but they are not immune to infestation by aphids, spider mites, mealybugs, or fungal pathogens. Regular inspection and early intervention are crucial. Non-chemical methods are preferred whenever possible, including manual removal, careful application of neem oil, or use of organic insecticidal soaps. Maintaining optimal environmental conditions reduces stress on the plant, which in turn diminishes susceptibility to pest attacks. Stressed or poorly nourished plants are much more likely to succumb to infestations, highlighting the importance of balanced care practices across all factors. Understanding the growth patterns, life cycles, and environmental preferences of carnivorous plants transforms cultivation from a mechanical task into an immersive and rewarding experience. Each species possesses unique rhythms. Venus flytraps may enter dormancy in response to shortened daylight and cooler temperatures. Sundews may produce new leaves continuously throughout the year. Nepenthes develop elongated vines and colorful pitchers under specific light and humidity conditions. Observing these patterns provides insights into the plant's health and environmental needs, allowing adjustments that support optimal growth, trap formation, and overall vigor. In summary, the successful care of carnivorous plants is a nuanced practice that requires attention to water quality and frequency, light intensity and duration, substrate composition, feeding and nutrient supplementation, humidity, temperature, propagation, pruning, and pest management. Each species offers distinct challenges and rewards, and the careful replication of their native conditions is essential for thriving plants. By cultivating awareness of environmental signals, responding to the plant's needs, and providing a stable and supportive environment, growers can enjoy the extraordinary beauty, complexity, and fascination of carnivorous plants. The interplay of observation, patience, and scientific understanding transforms the act of cultivation into a dialogue with nature itself, revealing the hidden mechanisms and extraordinary adaptations of these captivating botanical predators. In this careful stewardship, the gardener becomes a participant in a delicate ecosystem, fostering life that is as extraordinary as it is beautiful, and experiencing the profound satisfaction that comes from watching carnivorous plants flourish, trap prey, and reveal the subtle marvels of their evolutionary ingenuity.